A true classic never goes out of style.
Fiona, how has your relationship with Chucky evolved through the years?
Well, he was the coolest thing about dating me when I was in high school, is that I was the seed of Chucky. And then he started to make me some money, and that's really cool. And now he has been a great beacon of opportunity. I love him. I mean, I think he has a very tender place in my heart.
And then he'll kill me too.
Come to mommy.
You know, he's been around since as long as I can remember. He sits on top of, in my apartment in the corner. I bring him out every Halloween. The Chucky fan base is enthusiastic and dedicated and excited, and it's just like, it's the best fans in the world. I love them. They constantly draw. They constantly draw Chucky and tag us.
She has fans who are obsessed with her specifically, and just
For
like
all
draw
of us,
pictures of Fiona in different situations.
in different situations, always like with Chucky in different circumstances and angles and everything.
And also cross over to your character on Dirk Gently.
Right. Yeah.
I don't blame you for being afraid. I was very ill.
Chucky told me.
Don, your movies are full of references to other horror movies and outsider movies. What is it that appeals to you with outsider movies?
You mean what appeals to me about referencing other films?
No, not just referencing, but the whole genre and the mix of horror, and you got John Waters in Seed of Chucky, and more of the obscure parts of cinema.
Well, I've just always been, as I'm sure you are, sounds like you are a big film fan. And, when you have a franchise and you're doing multiple films over the decades, you want to find ways of freshening it up and making it new. And so I like to draw on, different influences, and, I have my own, favorite filmmakers and, films that have inspired me over the years. And, there's a real tradition in this genre of like doing nods to other films. And it's fun to do that, because it's like some people get the references, other people don't. Another fun thing is, like, once you get to this point, you start referencing your own movies, and like, and you don't want to get your head up your ass too much, and like, because that can be self-defeating. But in this film, there are little Easter eggs throughout for people to see if they've it will go over the heads of most people, but diehard fans will go, oh, that's a reference to Child's Play 2. Oh, he said that in Bride of Chucky. And I think our franchise is unique among most horror franchises, that it's, we are the same filmmakers who have controlled it over the years. So we're really proud of the fact that we have a pretty coherent mythology at this point after 7 films in 30 years. It's complicated, but it all tracks.
Yeah. When did you realize that Child's Play would be a franchise?
Well, probably, the first one came out in '88 and it was successful, and so they greenlighted the second movie, and the second movie was very successful, and then we went on to the third. So I think probably by the time you get to the third movie, you start to think like, oh, this is something that could go on for a while. But I think with Bride of Chucky, I think is when it really it spiked in terms of its presence in the zeitgeist, and it's. At that point, it felt like that Chucky had really been embraced as an icon and sort of as an ambassador for all things horror in a way. I think he's become one of those characters that people are fond of and they love to hate, and people like to dress up as him on Halloween, that sort of thing. So I think around 3 or 4 is when I was like, oh, maybe this will sustain me for the rest of my life.
Do you feel that way?
I do, and I'm grateful for it. You know, it like sustains me through the fallow periods. You know, I've been doing this writer-director for 30 years now, and you know, as with any show business career, you have your ups and downs, and it's like it's. I'm very grateful to have a franchise that like I can always return to, and it's almost like I've inadvertently created my own film school in a way where it allows me to like, you know, I learn a lot with every film.
Also, he created one of the most famous characters in the world, right? He created something that's really in the zeitgeist worldwide, and I think that is pretty incredible, and it hasn't been done by that many people.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, Chucky is so famous. The character is so famous.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And her dad has a lot to do with that too. You know, he's like the voice and his performance is such an indelible part of that. I can't really imagine Chucky without Brad.
I said talk to me, damn it, or else I'm gonna throw you in the fire!
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
How did you get him for the part in the start?
Well, that was actually the idea of the director of the first movie, Tom Holland. Tom had done a movie with Brad before Child's Play called Fatal Beauty. I don't know if you're familiar. It was a action movie with Whoopi Goldberg that I guess came out 86, 87. And so it was Tom's brilliant idea to cast Brad as Charles Lee Ray and the voice of Chucky. Although, some people may not know, Tom experimented with different voices for Chucky at one point, proceeding on the logic that in The Exorcist, the voice of the devil was actually a woman's voice, the actress Mercedes McCambridge. For a while, Tom was like thinking maybe Chucky should be voiced by an actress, and Jessica Walter, do you know who that is? Actually, there was a rough cut of the movie with Jessica Walter as Chucky. It didn't work. And so he came to his senses and went back to Brad doing it. And so here we are.
Cell phones in horror movies. I just drop it like that.
Cell phones in horror movies. Do we have a cell phone in this movie?
Yes.
Tell me. I forgot. Where is it? I think you're lying.
It's one in Curse of Chucky, I know.
In Curse, I'm sorry, I totally forget what happens with the cell phone. In Curse.
It's no connection. But it must be a returning problem. Like, it's this day of age, everybody got a cell
I see
phone.
What you mean.
How do you work with it? Yeah. How do you get rid of that instant call for help?
Well, if you're like me, you have AT&T and your service isn't great. You know, that's, you know, you could always go there with horror movies. It's like,
Do they have AT&T?
I only have one bar. I can't, like, oh my God, this doll's about to kill me and I can't call 911.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? I'll have to deal with it myself.
Do you have like any creative suggestions, or how do you
set it at a mental hospital so that we don't have any cell phones?
Actually, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
She'll be writing the next one.
Yeah.
Night night. And they call me sick?